Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day and welcome to this special episode of the Whiteblood Panorama on your favorite channel, Whiteblood Multimedia, recorded on Thursday, the 9th of June 2022. I'm your host, Umar Isa Dandabu. Finally, the long-awaited dawn for the ruling All Progressives Congress has come, and it is now clear that Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has emerged victorious after what many describe as quote-unquote a fiercely serious contest. Now, ahead of the 2023 general elections, the main candidates are Mr. Tinubu from the ruling party, the APC, Atiku Abubakar, former vice president, who is from the main opposition party, the PDP. We also have Peter Obi from the Labour Party and Engineer Rabi Musa Konkoso from the NNPP. In this episode, we are going to be talking a lot about the strengths and weaknesses of those who are vying, well, some of them desperately, for the most prestigious position in the country. Who among them fits the most to be the next president of the most populous nation in Africa? And are we, come 2023, going to see a multi-party system in the elections? Well, to get an expert analysis, I'm joined in the studio by Professor Kamilu Sani Fagge, one of the leading professors of political science and international relations here in Nigeria, and he is from Bayero University, Kano. Thank you very much indeed, Professor, for being on the program.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's an honor, and I have to start by saying thank you once again for coming. The last time when I was doing my radio show, Global Arena, it used to be me and you talking about global politics, Iran, Middle East, and other things like that. But in this new TV show that we've started doing, the Whiteblood Panorama, we're mostly focusing on the Nigerian politics, given the gravity of the situation that the country is in and is facing, and given the importance and the significance of the elections that we are facing in less than a year. Professor, what do you have to say about the elections that are coming in 2023? How different are they going to be from the ones that we have seen so far?
Okay, you see, the 2023 elections are in some ways going to be different from the ones that we had since the inception of current democratic dispensation, that is from 1999 to date. All along is that we had multi-party system, and up till 2015 we had one party that was very dominant until 2015 when it was dislodged from power and another party took over.
You're talking about PDP from 1999 to 2015?
Yeah. What I mean is from 1999 up to 2015 we had PDP, straight about 16 years. Now when it was dislodged in 2015, APC took over, which is now it's in on 7th, and it will be 8 years. Now we are going to have another round of elections. And why I said it is likely going to happen is that it's likely going to be different is the fact that now there are, even though there are two dominant parties, there are other parties that could have been, it could have made a serious show in the election. Okay, so that is why there is that one. And secondly, the election comes at a time of insecurity and so many challenges, which I think will raise the hopes of Nigerians that perhaps there is likely going to be a light at the end of the tunnel.
So are you saying that by saying that there will be a light at the end of the tunnel, are you saying that we're going to be a change of government as we saw in 2015, because there was the issue of insecurity before 2015 election, and this administration of Buhari campaigned largely to eradicate, to deal with the security threats facing, bedeviling the country. Now, are we going to see, is the course going to repeat itself?
No, this is not what I mean. When I say light at the end of the tunnel is that since the inception of this democratic dispensation, the aspirations of Nigerians have been damped. Their expectation of what a democratic government will be have been damped because we are facing so many challenges. One of the four major challenges now that we can talk about is that one, there is a insecurity problem, there is a problem of poverty, there is problem of inflation, there is problem of unemployment, there is also problem of corruption and many other things. So
and the education sector is not doing well.
The education, generally, you know, there are a lot of problems here and there. So what I mean by hoping that there will be a light at the end of the tunnel is that Nigerians will expect that perhaps after these elections, whether it is the same party that continue or it is a different party, Nigerians are hopeful that these issues could be addressed, even if they have not been 100% resolved, but at least people are expecting that perhaps the debates and campaigns will revolve around these issues, because some of the major factors that used to dominate our own campaign are not there or could not be there. For example, most of our campaign revolve around the issue of ethnicity, religion, sectionalism, and so on. Now, if you look at the dominant or the major contestant now, you can eliminate the issue of religion. Except for Peter Obi, the three are all from the same religion.
They are all Muslims.
All Muslims. Okay. So I think that issue of religion will not have been a campaign issue. But what may likely going to be is the divide between South and North.
Are you talking about zoning?
Not zoning, about, you know, in Nigerian politics, zoning just revolve around the issue of divide. Nigeria somehow historically, the accident of history, we happen to be divided into three blocks, by north, west, and east. But now, as things are going on, west and east tend to be like a block. They call themselves a south. So the blocking now is between north and south, which colored the primary election. But now that we are over the primary elections, now I think the secondary or general election, these things may not likely feature.
I mean, Prof, before we move on about the kind of leaders that Nigeria is in dire need of, I'm personally interested in this issue of zoning. Why is it that a lot of our politicians care much about who becomes the leader? Is he from the south or from the north? And democratically speaking, politically speaking, is it good to care about this issue?
You see, no. The issue of zoning is more or less an attempt to satisfy the interest of the political elite. It is not in the interest of the nation. It is not in the interest of the people. It is not in the interest of democracy, because zoning is undemocratic. And zoning, if you sit down and look at it carefully, is even dangerous for the survival of democracy. And
how dangerous is it?
Now, let me give you a simple arithmetic. Zoning, the idea of zoning is to rotate political posts, and we have 6 geopolitical zones. Even though it is not statewide, we have 6 geopolitical zones. And what the elite are saying is that there should be turn by turn between the 6 zones. And if you look at our own constitution, any person who is elected has the chance to go for 8 years. After past tenure, then he will be for the second.
He will look for the
second tenure.
Yes.
So you see, what it means is that if 1 out of the 6 zones, let's say zone 1,
yes,
we don't mention them, but let's say zone 1, if zone 1 produce a president and he happens to be, come for the second term, you see what it means. The remaining 5 zones also have this 8-year thing. Now, if you multiply 8 by 5, is 40 years. So, which means if zone 1 has a president, it will not be its own turn until 40 years.
Wow.
And that one, you see, that is why I say it is going to be a dangerous thing, because the way our politicians make politics a do or die affair, no zone will want to remain in
waiting for 40 years.
40 years. Even before that, look at what is happening.
Yes.
When we had the PDP, which is the architect that introduced zoning, when Adua died.
Yes.
Look at the crisis that they plunged the country into it. Now say only Adua spent 2 years, so they should have the chance to continue and then produce another person. But constitutionally, if the president dies, it is the vice president that will go. You remember it took a lot of things until they reach a doctrine of necessity. That is when they gave this. So had it been they push it, they will push the country into crisis.
It would have been catastrophic.
It would be catastrophic indeed, because North will say we still have it, because South, Obasanjo had 80 years. So by their own idea, now it will be a northern part, which started, and in 2 years. It is a danger for the country and for everybody. Zoning is not something good.
So now that most of the governors from the northern part of the country, I mean those people who are under the APC party, now that they were actively involved in pushing Tinubu to get the primary elections, are you saying, is Professor saying that they did it to serve their own quote-unquote selfish interests?
That's absolutely right. You see, at first they were not even for Tinubu. What they say was, we have 14 governors in the north who are APC. Only one governor who was vying for the presidency that refused to accept that idea. Yahaya Bello of Kogi. He said he was against it, but the remaining 13 said that they want it, that it should go to South. Now, if you look at it, they didn't do it for the sake of Nigeria. They didn't do it for the sake of the continuity of democracy. To me, the reason why they did it was that there was this tension between North and South as to where it will go. And most of them that are advocating, they are just looking for a ticket to be the vice presidential candidate. So that is why they think if somebody from South comes, then from among themselves, then it will be the next person. Remember that...
But they are all Muslims.
Even if they are all Muslims, initially they were pushing for a Christian something indirectly. They don't want to come out. They don't want to cut their nose and spit their face, saying that we are advocating that we give it to Southern Christian. But they say it's a Southerner. So if they go underground, they manipulate and get somebody.
So you're saying that they had wished Oshimbanjo
to have come or any person, a Christian will come,
they as Muslims
one of them will be there. That is what is behind it.
But now it's impossible for them to be the running mates, or for one of them to be the running mate of Bola Tinubu, because most of them are Muslims, like the governor of Kano, the governor of Jigawa, and so on and so forth. And he too Tinubu is a Muslim. Do you think it's going to be possible for Muslim candidate from the south to choose a running mate from the north who is also a Muslim?
You see, this also is part of the elite problem. When they don't allow democracy to reign, they are using every available means to further their own interests, not national interests, not Nigerians' interests, not even the interests of democracy. The reason why they put to this idea was that, look, they wanted to push that in Nigeria you shouldn't have Muslim ticket or Christian ticket. But remember, one of the elections that we had, which has a national separate, was when we fielded the Muslim, Abiola and Kingbe. They were both Muslim, and the issue of religion was not there. So that is why I said that the elite are more interested in themselves. That is why they watered down every serious issue to either ethnicity or religion or whatever, because they don't have really an agenda as to what they want to do, and because they don't have any ideology. Their only concern is to capture power. So that is why they try to do all sorts of maneuvers in such a way that they remain within the power. So this idea of Muslim ticket, Nigerians will vote for it. It doesn't. You see why we are having problem is that we literally change the meaning of democracy in Nigeria.
Okay.
In the idea of democracy, one of the simplest definition of it, it is a government of the people, for the people, and by the people.
Of course.
Which means everything revolves around the people. But if you look at Nigeria, but without irrespective of religion, and
but in Nigeria, it's a different story.
Oh yeah, even in Nigeria, it was not like this before. But if you look at Nigeria now, the politicians have reduced democracy to mean the government of the rich, for the rich and by the rich.
Oh my God.
So that is why they corner it, and they think when they talk of politicians as if politicians are the owners of Nigeria. They are not the owners. Everybody has a stake in Nigeria. You and I and every other person has a stake. So the system should have been in our own collective interest, not only for one class, and they should be dictating anything. In fact, that is why you see when there is any election, the government concentrate more on its party members.
Okay.
I almost negate this one. That is why you hear people talking of that we are members of the party and we are not getting anything. But the idea is you join party because you believe in its principles and ideology, and you want to see that the program that it has itself to the people are implemented to the fullest. So it is not your own personal interest, but because of our politicians are more interested in their personal interest, it is, as one governor said, the most, what can I say? He said it is a business that you can get the highest profit in Nigeria. It is the most profitable business in Nigeria. And you join politics.
You're quoting somebody who is number one in his own state.
Yeah, he was a governor. I don't want to mention him, but
no mention of the name.
What he said, it is the most profitable industry or business in Nigeria.
I'm sure Prof would say it's morally wrong for him to do that, and it's politically and democratically wrong to also do that. It is morally
wrong. It is in every respect. You see, politics is supposed to be a way of serving the people. It's supposed to be a way of serving the nation, like any other work. You see, if I am a teacher, I am teaching, even though it's my own profession, but I'm teaching because I have something that I can offer to the society. Okay, that is why I chose to be in the career and to remain there. So in the sense that should have
service to the humanity.
That is what the politicians should do, to serve. If you look at all other countries, everywhere, the leaders are there to serve the country because they have something to offer. But in our own case, people are not there to serve.
It's the other way around.
It's the other way around. They are there to serve themselves. That is why they pump a lot of money to get where they are. What they spend in getting to the office is many times more than what they will earn legally in the office. So you don't expect somebody to spend billions. At the end of it, he takes a job of only a few hundreds of millions of naira throughout his career.
So, Bro, thank you very much. Let's now take a look at this issue. What kind of leader is Nigeria in dire need of? Let's analyze these people. Or let me say, let's analyze the ones that are most popular. Kwankwaso from Kano, Atiku Abubakar from Adamawa, Tinubu from Lagos, and Peter Obi also from the, I think he's from the southeast, right?
Yeah.
So let's analyze them. Are they the right people that Nigeria is in need of?
Okay. You see, what Nigerians need and what Nigeria need leaders that are selfless, they are visionary, they are honest, they are competent, and so many things that will now meet the challenges of Nigerians. But in democracy, we tend to have a problem that people who are now in the position, because they are now career politicians, career leaders. So these issues, even if they may have some capacity to address some of the basic issues, but they will not be able to do it because one, they forget most of, or they neglect most of the things that will make them to work. One of the things is that because of the political nature, either intentionally or that being imposed. One of the things is that nobody is Mr. Know-all. Nobody has everything, the capacity that he has. And one of the surest way of a person to be a leader that will meet the aspiration of the people is his or her own ability to create a team. And that team will be there to work for him. But I mean for the nation. But we don't have that. And one other thing is the leader will have a vision and a mission, what he wants to achieve. Now, if you look at the four that you mentioned, each one may have his own these things, but I think the problem lies in the process they come about and the platform they got into, and the fact that now they form a class of politicians against Nigerians. So that is why we may not be able to see any drastic change or remarkable difference from the past. And most of the challenges that we are facing now could still remain as challenges. They could remain as challenges, and the people may be capable of addressing one or two issues. But I think left for Nigerians, you know, the choice is that Nigerians will want to look at more. Not that very few people will sit down and select others and say, okay, this is what you have for us. That is one of the limitations of democracy, because actually if you look at democracy, whether here or in other places, it's a combination of selection and election, because the electors don't have a say as to who will be the candidate. So is it true some few people who will come and make it, and like we'll see how what happened in the primary. Integrity and honesty was dealt away with, because if you look at all of them, it is more or less money politics that bring them out, especially the major ones. If you look at the way the primary election went through, and I think if had it been it was not monetized and it was free and fair, probably they may not come out. Others could be. I don't think they are the best that were available. among the contestants.
So who is the best if they are not the same?
No,
I'm not saying,
I'm not saying there are so many things. You see, best sometimes you have to measure it in terms of ability. Like I said, nobody has a monopoly of everything. They could be good in one aspect and they could be deficient in others.
So let's look at them individually. Tinubu is said to have transformed Lagos into a mega city state that is said to be one of the biggest in Africa. Do you think if he gets elected as the president of Nigeria, he could do what he did, like say 24 years ago?
I don't think he will be able to do it. One, you are talking of, you are comparing a what do you call it, a cheese and chalk.
Oh, what's the difference?
The difference is they are all white in color, but you cannot eat a chalk, but you can eat cheese and the other things. What I mean is that Lagos is a fairly small city or town, let's say state. If not for the traffic jam, from one end to Lagos, another, within 1 hour you will reach from east to west, or this, if not for the traffic jam. And he's lucky that Lagos had a very sound economic base. So there are all other things. And the politics of Lagos, if you go back in history, they have a very, even during colonialism, Lagos was an area that gave headache to the colonial powers. So whoever you take to Lagos has to be a good governor.
So which means if he, as Tinubu, the former governor of Lagos, gets elected as president of Nigeria, he could do well.
No, I'm just saying you are comparing this. He could do well, but he could not replicate what happened in Lagos. This is what I'm telling you, that Lagos is a small thing. Then Lagos is unique in terms of economic base, vibrant politics, and other things. So even if you put a dull governor, he must work in Lagos because of the challenges in Lagos. And the other challenge that may make it impossible for him to replicate what he did in Lagos, beside the size of Nigeria, is the fact that he is not the person that he was before in terms of health and age. So there could be that challenge.
He's now 70.
He's now 70 and he has health challenges. And besides, he's going to meet with a cabinet, a cabinet which he didn't know. He's going to meet with assembly from other areas, which he cannot run like the way he did in Lagos like this. So there are so many challenges that may make him incapable of replicating the same. And above all, is because of his tenacity that he wants power. When you have somebody who is so tenacious in trying to get something, when you give him, he will not do anything. He will be consumed with the power itself rather than using the power to produce. The same thing is going to happen with Atiku. Atiku, both Atiku and Tinubu were eager. They kept on, they contested for this election since before 1999. They contested. Atiku, remember, he was with Ibn Abiola the other time, the aborted Third Republic. And since 1999, he has been contesting and losing and so on. So when you give him, it will be now more or less of, I have achieved it and trying to do this, so there will be no other thing. And
just like Buhari?
Yeah, but you see, that is also why one of the things
that is also a typical example of this.
That is one of the reasons that incapacitated Buhari. Age was there. He was a military leader. When he became a president, he had to work with assembly. He has to, learn the politics of compromise. Some of the issues that he will do, and besides, he was surrounded by a cabinet that he didn't know. The politics is like a booty, like a warfare. If you have an army that conquered a city, now you start distributing the shares. So that is what happened in politics. You come, I come, everybody join. So you see, you as a president, you may not even know some majority of the people, you may not even haven't met them in your life, but this power broker will bring this power, and at the end of it, somebody will be teleguiding you. He has contributed so amount of money in this. He has contributed this, and so that
you have to make some
hands will be tied. You have to be compromised.
So briefly, before we go, what about Kwankwaso and Peter Obi?
Kwankwaso and Peter Obi, their own could have been also the same issue. That we take the issue of getting politics and other things. But you see, one of the challenge that they will have is that they are more or less a champion in certain localities.
Local champions?
Not nationalistic in this thing. So even if they make it, what it means is that they have to extend their hands across and bring the people that they don't know to work with. And if you bring them, then your hands will be tied. Again. You cannot be able to do it. And another thing is, if a person wants to be Mr. Know-all, which is all these things that they know, they want to make the nation like you see, this is one of the mentality of African leaders. They want to be like father figure. You know, a father in a house, nobody challenges.
Nobody challenges.
That is what they want to be. So if they do this, that is a recipe of failure, because you don't think that you know everything and everything must be done according to the way you do it. No flexibility, no openness, and the issue of transparency and other things. These are some of the things why these people could not have been the best options that we have. But they say in the absence, like, you know, I will want have a local literal translation of one Hausa adage. No, not that one. That in a place of blind, and a one-eyed man is a king. So meaning in a situation where you don't have this thing, the availability to now select right from the grassroots, then if these people come, we try to look at which one is a little better than that is, or at least comparatively. We do what is known as comparative analysis or comparative advantage. Which one has certain advantage over the others? Then we elect that one and hope and pray that things will work the way we want them to be.
Thank you very much indeed, Professor Kamilu Sani Fagge, for your in-depth analysis, for your expert analysis on this issue, and we will keep a close eye on it, and inshallah we hope you will be able to come back when next we invite you to come and talk about one thing or the other that is related to this issue.
Anytime. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Finally, what do you have to say about this program?
I think it is very nice and very good that we are now having a forum like this where the people will get independent views, because if you go through the official media, you know, you don't hear this. And these are areas where you can have objective analysis. So my call is for you to keep on, you know, doing the best that you can, but at the same time, I will call on what we call it, Whiteblood TV, that there are certain ethics of journalism. So try to abide by that. If you are objective, you know, thorough in your analysis and other things, people will come and you will be able to make the difference in the world outside.
Thank you very much indeed, Professor, for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
That has been Professor Kamilu Sani Fagge from Bayero University, Kano. On behalf of everyone that has contributed to the production of this program and the big boss, Zainab Abdurrahman Agogo, I am Umar Isad Ndugu saying goodbye and have a wonderful day ahead.